Hello, my dear student. Assalamu alaikum. Hope you all are quite okay and fine. Welcome you all to my today online class. Before going to start my today's lecture, first of all, I would like to introduce myself to all of you. I am Muhammad Ghulam Morshed, lecturer of biology, Milestone College, Uttara Dhaka. Now let's discuss our today's class. Today I am going to discuss about chapter 1, that is animal diversity and classification. You see here different types of animals belongs to the phylum Chordata. The phylum Chordata, this is the phylum of the animal with backbone, fish, reptiles, birds, amphibians and mammals. Now learning output. After completing this lesson, students should be able to classify the animal up to class, explain the characteristics of different classes of subphylum of Vertebrata of phylum Chordata. Now the Chordata. You see here different types of animals belongs to the phylum Chordata. The Chordata is actually derived from the Greek word chorda, which means cord, and the atta to bear, because all the animals belongs to this phylum actually bear the notochord. The characteristics of phylum Chordata. The number one characteristics, that is the notochord is present at some stage in the life cycle. Number two, single dorsal tubular nerve cord present. Number three, pharyngeal process present at some stage in their life cycle. In aquatic chordates, this develops into gill slits. And number four, the thyroid gland is present. The notochord present at some stage in their life cycle. If you look at the figure here, this is the notochord, and which is extended from head to tail, from the anterior side of the body to the posterior side. And number two, the single dorsal tubular nerve cord are present. This is the nerve cord which is located just dorsal side of the notochord, and it is also extended from head to tail. This is the nerve cord. And the pharyngeal process presents at some stage in their life cycle. In aquatic chordate, this develops into gill slits. If you look at the figure, this is the gill slit. Now the examples of the phylum Chordata, Homo sapiens and the Panthera tigris. Now the vertebrates. This is the subphylum of vertebrates. Actually vertebrates is come from Latin word vertebrates, which means backbone. All the animals belongs to this subphylum is actually bear the backbone. Now the characteristics of the vertebrates, notochords, nerve cord, pharyngeal, gills, pouches, and postanal tails are present at some stage of their life cycle. If you look at this figure, this is the notochord, nerve cord, and pharyngeal gill slit. These are the most important fundamental characteristics of the chordate, and these are also found in the subphylum Vertebrata. Now brains and spinal cords are found by the nerve cord. The anterior portion of the spinal cords are modified into brain, and the remaining parts of the same spinal cord is actually give rise to the spinal cord. When this animal becomes adult, these two specialized portion is actually formed from the spinal cord or nerve cord. 5 to 15 pairs of gill slits are present in pharynx. The vertebrates is divided into two superclasses. Number one, the agnatha. Without true jaws, A means absence and gnathos means jaw. So, the without true jaws or paired appendages, and gnathostomata with true jaws or paired appendages. This is the true jaws. Superclasses agnatha is divided into two classes. Agnatha is divided into two classes. Number one class is number one Myxini, and now the some important characteristic features of the class Myxini: body slender, eel-like, with naked skin. 5 to 15 pairs of gill pouches are actually present. They are commonly known as the hagfish. If you look at the figure, this is the hagfish, the Myxine glutinosa. Now the class 2, the cephalosporomorphy. Now let's discuss about some of the important characteristic features of the class cephalosporomorphy. The body is actually slender, eel-like or naked skin. Sucker-like oral disc or horny teeth is actually present. 7 pairs of gill pouches are found. They are commonly known as the lamprey. If you look at the figure, this is the lamprey, the Petromyzon marinus. The superclass Gnathostomata is again divided into 7 classes. Number 1, the Chondrichthyes. Now I am discussing some of the important characteristic features of the class Chondrichthyes. Chondrichthyes, the cartilaginous skeleton, body with heterocercal tail. Heterocercal tail means this is the caudal fin, heterocercal caudal fin. The 2 lobes of the caudal fins are dissimilar in structure. That's why these types of caudal fin is actually called the heterocercal caudal fin. Skin with placoid scale and 5 to 7 pair of gill slit actually present in case of the animals belongs to the class Chondrichthyes. Now this is the Scoliodon Suracoa, and the number class 2, the Actinopterygii. Actinopterygii with bony skeleton, skin with cycloid, ctenoid or ganoid scale, single gill opening covered with operculum. Swim bladder is actually present. Tenualosa Elisha. Number 3, the Sarcopterygi. Sarcopterygi. The bony skeleton is present, skin with ganoid type of skull. Whole body is actually covered with a ganoid type of skull. This is the special characteristic features of this class. And the gill opening with operculum and the swim bladder is present. The Neoceratodes foresteri. Now the class 4, that is the amphibia. The skin is smooth, moist, with mucous gland and lacking scale. 4 limbs with 4 digit, respiration by gills, lungs or skin. They are ectothermic. Ectothermic means the body temperature may be changed depending on the temperature of the environment. When the temperature of environment is rise, their body temperature will cannot be rise with the temperature of the environment, and that's why these are called the ectothermic or ectothermic animal. Now the Buphomelanostictus. Class 5, the skin dry, lacking mucous gland, and covered with epidermal scale, 3 chambered heart, limbs paired with 5 toes, no larval stage. Now the examples, the Naja Naja and the Dracobolens. Now the class Fs. This is the 6th class, number of 6 class Fs. The body is covered with feather. This is the one of the most important characteristic features of the Fs. The endothermic body temperature may be fluctuating depending on the environment temperature. When the environment temperature becomes rise, the body temperature is also cannot be rise, and in respect to the environment temperature. That's why these types of animal is actually called the endothermic. Number 3, the jaws modified into beak. Number 4, the forelimbs modified into wings. And the birds, the Columba libia and the Passer domesticus. Now the mammals. This is the mammalia class. Mammary glands, sweat glands, and sebaceous glands present. Body covered with hair. Muscular diaphragm is present, and non-nucleated red blood cell corpuscle is actually present. External air or pinna is found. Now the example, the Panthera tigris. Now the teamwork, the group A, write down the two characteristics of the FF animal. Group B, write down the two characteristics of the FF animal. Now the evaluation. Sadbir observed that animals with 4 clawed legs, with the scales and with a long tails, was walking on the wall. Then Sadbir said to his younger brother, were animals of the superior class among the other classes of animals. A. What is notochord? B. What is meant by diaphragm? C. Explain the characteristics of the class of the mentioned animal. D. Give your logical opinion about the first statement of about the last statement of the Sabbir. Now the homework, write down the characteristics of the reptilia, apes, and the mammalia. Thank you for your patient sharing. I think today's lecture was very much effective lecture for all of us. I am humbly requesting you all to watch my video lecture for several times so that you can understand each and every topic that have already discussed here today. If you have any queries regarding my today's lecture, feel free to ask me, or you can also ask your respective subject teacher. Thank you all. Khuda Hafiz.